Here we are, day 136. How you loving, how you loving, how you loving? How you loving, family? How you loving, how you loving? Look at you beautiful souls here for A Course in Miracles every single morning. Here we are, ready to engage ACIM Lesson 136. We won't be crazy today. We won't carry old baggage. We won't call other people the problem. We won't live in lack and limitation, getting old, getting sick. We won't keep believing in death. We will rescue ourselves, as the Course calls it, salvation. Let us have that deep, holy breath together. And another. And another. Preparing ourselves to enter that ultimate reality and to live from ultimate reality, knowing that everything in the third dimension is ultimately an illusion. Understanding the mechanics of the mind. This is spiritual psychology. Understand our emotional nature. This is also emotional intelligence. Understanding our spiritual connection to everything and everyone. This is spirituality. Understanding our ability to bring anything into existence on the third dimensional time space continuum. This is magic. Welcome. You now engage A Course in Miracles, lesson 136. Opening our eyes slowly, being ever thankful, ever appreciative for A Course in Miracles that shows us exactly the source of any issue, any challenge, any problem, so that it can be immediately eliminated and we can all experience the peace of God, the joy of God, and so that we can all realize. That means to make real God's will. What is God's will? The same as your will. Perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God morning. Hey, Black women, stand up. Hey, how are you? Hey, Amir, how you loving? God morning, God morning, God morning. Let's get into it, family. ACIM Lesson 136. I'm currently in Virginia. That's as far as I could drive last night after my daughter's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. She had her first ever goddess circle in Philly. And so I drove after the goddess circle. The goddess circle ended at 8. And let truth be revealed. Oh, yeah, and healing be. So mote be. So mote be, Amir. Thank you for that powerful, potent prayer. Let it be. So my daughter's healing circle last night, Goddess Circle, her first ever Goddess Elevate event, was spectacular. I'll post pics as well as a vid of her. She revealed all of her incredible new products. Well, not all of her new products. She debuted her product line with 4 incredible products. I'll show them to you another time. And simply spectacular. So I made my way all the way from Miami up to, well, from Dubai to Miami to Maryland for the Intervisions ordination graduation, then to Philly for my daughter's Goddess Circle, now back to Miami preparing for New Orleans next weekend, not this weekend coming up, next weekend for the Christian Riches Convention. If you don't have your tickets yet, tickets close this Sunday at 11:45 p.m. Let's get into lesson 136. Now we're going to find out why you get sick, why we get sick, and how to stop getting sick. Sickness is a defense against the truth. Yesterday, we delved deeply into the whole idea of planning, making plans. And we also delved into defenses, and that the more defenses we have, the more attacked we think we are. And we also think that our defense will somehow solve the attack. This is a double illusion. And this is the illusion that maybe 90 to 95% of the human race lives under to some degree. There are many who are free and awakened, who are no longer under that edict of the lower mind. There's no such thing as defense. There's no such thing as attack. There's nothing threatening you. And all our planning is simply to try an attempt, a feeble and vain attempt to try to control future events based on the past, rather than being in the present now and trusting life that all is well. Everything is working out perfectly. Iwa, I'm loved and taken care of. You're loved and taken care of right here in this right now moment. And it has never not been the case. Now we delve into sickness. Here's another defense that we like to put up. No one can heal unless he understands what purpose sickness seems to serve. You know, all the wounded healers? Here we go, cleaning all that up for ourselves. For then he understands as well, its purpose has no meaning. Being causeless and without a meaningful intent of any kind, it cannot be at all. When this is seen, healing is automatic. It dispels this meaningless illusion by the same approach that carries all of them to truth and merely leaves them there to disappear. We can't heal unless we understand the purpose of sickness and what it seems to serve. Why do we get sick? Why do we make up issues in the body temple with an unhealed mind? You won't be able to heal other people until you understand the purpose that we made up sickness for, and then understand that it has no meaning whatsoever because it is causeless and without any meaningful intent. Sickness is not an accident. It's not. It doesn't all of a sudden come on you. Oh, it's feeling so good. Oh, I feel something coming on. Oh, I feel my throat itchy. It's not an accident. Like all defenses, it is an insane device for self deception. When I get sick, my mind is trying to use sickness as an insane device for self deception. And like all the rest, its purpose is to hide reality, attack it, change it, render it inept, distort it, twist it, or reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. The aim of all defenses is to keep the truth from being whole. The parts are seen as if each one were whole within itself. Sickness is not an accident. We're using it because we're getting something out of it. We're using it to prove that we're separate from other people and we need to be pitied. And it has the same effect as all of our other self deceptions that is trying to attack the wholeness and reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. That you being sick in your bed has nothing to do with someone being sick in a hospital in Mumbai, and it has nothing to do with a little girl in Kenya, and it has nothing to do with a boy in China, and it has nothing to do with a man in Russia. We have reduced or attempted to reduce the whole to a tiny pile of unassembled parts. Defenses are not unintentional. We use them with intent, nor are they made without awareness. We know what we do when we know what we're doing when we make a defense. They are secret magic wands you wave when truth appears to threaten what you would believe. Ouch. Now we ask for truth to correct all errors in my mind. And if you got something that looked like the C word, or you got a flu, or you got a bug, or your throat started scratching, or some phlegm started coming in your throat and your nose and whatever, all the experiences that I've had and have, just know some truth came up because we asked, truth will correct all errors in my mind. We asked for that. A truth came up, and I want to hold on to my old beliefs, and the truth appeared to threaten what I would believe. Therefore, I made this unconscious issue. They seem to be unconscious, but because of the rapidity with which you choose to use them, in that second, even less, in which the choice is made, there is a choice being made, even though the choice is swift and we may not catch it. We make choices to be sick. You recognize exactly what you would attempt to do and then proceed to think that it is done. Wow. Every sickness is a choice. If we knew how powerful our minds were, and if we knew what we were doing, we would be able to heal this. Who but yourself evaluates a threat, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat that has been judged as real? Who would do that other than the lower mind? The lower mind sees a threat. Oh, something is threatening me, or it could be the truth is threatening me because I don't want to change my mind. I want to keep believing what I believe. I need to be right. Other people need to be wrong. I've believed this for too long. I've invested too much in this belief. Jesus is the Savior. Hell is down there, and bad people are going. I need to believe these things, and I need to keep believing them. I need to believe that I'm sinful, or I'm the dust of the earth, or that I'm separate from other people, or fill in the blank. I need to believe these things. I need to believe we die. I need to believe that sickness just comes out of nowhere and jumps on me at any given time with it, and it's a threat. And I believe in attack, and I need to put up some defenses. And I believe that for me to be happy, people around me need to change, but I don't need to change my mind. If you believe all that, and here comes the truth to threaten your beliefs, oh, I gotta escape. Oh, let me get sick. All this cannot be done unconsciously. We know what we're doing, but afterwards, your plan requires that you must forget you made it. Bam! So it seems to be external to your own intent. You choose, you make the plan, then you forget that you made the plan. Ouch! How crazy am I? How crazy am I? The plan entails that I have to forget. It says your plan requires that you must forget you made it. So it seems to be external to your own intent. It seems to be happening outside of yourself. And it seems that it has nothing to do with what you really want, a happening beyond your state of mind, an outcome with real effect on you instead of one affected by yourself. These people around me, boo, you forgot that you made a plan and you recruited these people around you to reinforce your plan. Your plan requires that you must forget you made it. Wow, how crazy am I? That's just a shocker, isn't it? I've been reading this for years, and I promise you, every time I read it, there's a quickening. That's how you know truth is here. It is this quick forgetting of the part you play in making your quote unquote reality that makes defenses seem to be beyond your own control. The quick forgetting that we made the whole thing up. But what you have forgot can be remembered, given willingness to reconsider the decision, which is doubly shielded by oblivion. We're oblivious of our own decision and our own true intent. How about we don't do that? Your not remembering is but the sign that this decision still remains in force. If I keep forgetting, that means I don't want to remember as far as your desires are concerned. And it keeps my little plan of being sick and almost, I said almost a human, uh, pretty much just a petty human, and with 8 billion other petty humans on the planet. No one's God. Everyone's a petty little human trying to, I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. And that's what I used to hear when I was growing up. No, you're not. And squirrels don't try to get nuts. Squirrels get nuts. And you're not a squirrel. You're as the squirrel. You are infinite source reality. Mistake not this for fact. Defenses must make facts unrecognizable. They aim at doing this, and it is this they do. Wow, we completely forget that we made the plan to get sick. And then we act like it's completely out of our control and out of our intent. How crazy am I? Unless defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole that is not there. Every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole that is not there. We take the whole, God, source, which is all, which you are, in which we live and breathe and move and have our very being. And we cut God up into tiny parts, and we take God itself and we make him a he, and we put a beard on him and long white hair. And he's a white man in most of the depictions I saw. And so was Jesus. Jesus was a white man, except growing up in the Jehovah's Witness faith, he was more like an Arab man with dark hair, more Jewish looking, Hebrew looking, kind of Arab, kind of Hebrew, blended. And these depictions of Jesus, which they tell me came from Cesare Borgia, one of the children of a notorious pope, and the Borgia family, notorious, and Cesare Borgia in Rome, it was a very nice looking man. And so they say, hey, let's paint some paintings and let's make Jesus look like him. So probably the Jesus that you're looking at, and it caught on and it just kept going because why not? He's handsome. And it kept going. And next thing you know, you have a picture of a Jesus in mostly every church that looks like this sorrowful man. Yet he's nice looking, he's not ugly. And he looks really sorry and sorrowful. So we have taken the whole and we cut it up into parts, including God. And then we made God jealous, and we made him a murderer, and he's even a serial killer because he kills lots of people. And if you believe all this, just study origins of the Bible. If you really believe all of this, I don't want to be the one to pull the rug out from underneath anyone about their beliefs. Trust me, when the universe pulled the rug out from under me and continues to do so with regard to all my beliefs, shocking indeed. These are the things that we think. We take the whole and we cut it up into fragments, and we think Jesus, which is the whole, you cannot even imagine what Jesus looks like, the Christ, the pure Christ essence, has no shape, no form, has no expression whatsoever that you can say, there he is. It's not even a he. And we've cut him out and put him on the wall. And then we didn't do that with God because we figured God is just too big for that. Yet, before we thought monotheistically, all of humanity was pretty much polytheistic in our beliefs. There were gods of towns and gods of cities and gods everywhere. Till we came onto this one God belief. That's another conversation for another day. And then we have depictions of God everywhere. Here was the statue of God. Here was the statue of God in your house. God is here. This God is there. We took ultimate reality, the whole, and cut it into little pieces. When parts are wrested from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, we cut Jesus out of the great fabric of the universe. We cut him out with scissors. And we said, he's the one. And he's the one for everybody. And everybody is going to hell unless they're with this one. Now, that's an insane belief, yet a lot of people carry that belief. I have compassion for all the people. I used to carry that belief. So I have a lot of compassion for people that have that belief because we were taught that belief and we were brainwashed into that belief under duress because they brought us into a place where they arrested our attention. They made us sit in buildings where it was many hours and there was some emotion coming up. And then if they couldn't get certain emotions elicited from you, then they played music and went to the choir. And it had this exact same elements of if you were going to brainwash a person, same elements that are in the church. And they kept telling us, and they had this big man up there that they had cut out of the ultimate reality. And here he was up on the wall. And he's the one. We've cut this out of the hole with our big scissors. And we've made this part of the whole thing. And everybody that doesn't believe this one right here, well, you're just doomed. You're going to hell. Here we go. When parts are wrested from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, Jesus Christ is just a great example, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole, successful in effect, and never to be seen as whole again. You can't return Jesus now to ultimate reality because we did such a good job of making him separate from everything else. And yet you have forgotten that they stand but for your own decision of what should be real, to take the place of what is real. Ooh, I made up in my mind what's real so I can replace what really is real with what I think. I replaced reality with what I think. Well, do I want to still do that? That's called a delusion. Yep, every time I do that, I'm delusional. Sickness is a decision. When I first read that many years ago, I said, what? No way. This book is crazy. I was following along in the book. I wasn't reading it online. I was following along in the blue book that I've had for many years. And every so often I would pick it up and I would read this, the lessons, read the lessons, read the lessons. And after a while, I would just put it down because it was just blowing my mind too much. It was too much. It's too radical. Sickness is a decision. No one ever told me that. Whenever I got sick, I got all this pity. Whenever I got sick, I got to stay home from school. Whenever I got sick, people bought me soup in bed. Whenever I got sick, I got all this attention. It was lovely. I got to do things I couldn't do. Sickness has a lot of payoffs. People pity you. They come see you. They say, oh, they sit by your bed and hold your hand. Stop it. Stop being sick. When I read sickness is a decision, it was almost the same import as a healed mind does not plan. I had to meditate on it. I had to prove to myself the truth. I said, okay, crazy book called A Course in Miracles. I don't see miracles happening, but okay. That's why in the beginning, the course said in the introduction, which we read on day one, go to day one again. It said, some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may find quite startling. It gave a warning in the very beginning, and we said, okay, let's go. It's only day one. We didn't know about the startling ideas that we may actively resist. And it said, some of the ideas you may think have no merit or you won't believe them at all. The course doesn't need your belief. It's not a religion. We're not in a cult. This is psycho-spirituality. This is how you can take your mind from being crazy to being happy. This is about the peace of God. This is about you knowing what is real and what is not real. We have no dogma, no doctrine, no rules. They're only the everlasting laws of the universe. Choose to follow them if you want or not. So nothing here is making you have to do it. It's completely up to you, beloved. That's the beauty of this whole spiritual thing. You have to take each step willingly on your own. You cannot do it under duress. We are simply providing a safe space of unconditional love and peace and joy and non-judgment for you to take your steps if you want to take them. And if you come into this space some days and you say, I don't want to take no steps today, you cross your arms and you just sit there, good, I'm happy you showed up, because maybe something you're going to hear from your sister or your brother or your other, someone may say something. And you might say, you know what? I looked upon your shining face and I saw the face of God. Okay, I'm going to uncross my arms at least, and I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to take another step. I just can't move right now. It's okay. It is A-okay. So here's another idea that you may find quite startling. And please, I have deep compassion for that because I've been reading the course for years. So you can imagine the course has been hitting me with a 2x4 and pimp slapping me for I don't know how many years now. And even when I read things I have read over and over for years, I am still pimp slapped. Sickness is a decision. It is not a thing that happens to you quite unsought, which makes you weak and brings you suffering. No, you look for it. It is a choice you make, a plan you lay for when an instant truth arises in your own deluded mind and all your world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now are you sick? That truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. See, too much truth had come into my mind. That's why I got sick. I didn't get sick because of this or that or the other. Some guy, man, a V came and jumped on me and I caught something. No, you didn't. Sickness is a decision. You chose it. You made the plan. You got sick, and now you're happy. Then, after you made the plan requires that you forget you made the plan. How do you think that sickness can succeed in shielding you from truth? Because it proves the body is not separate from you, and so you must be separate from the truth. How do you prove to yourself with regard to sickness? How is it a defense against the truth? Because it makes the body seem real. So here you go. You're listening every day on A Course in Miracles. You're watching Donald D. Hoffman. You're studying quantum physics as we do. You're studying magic metaphysics. You're understanding the ultimate. You're approaching and living in the ultimate reality, which is not, it has nothing to do with this third dimensional plane. And that everything in this third dimensional plane is an avatar or an icon for the greater reality that stands behind it. These are the same principles of magic. We understand when we pick up a crystal, we're picking up a universal item. We're not just picking up a rock out of the ground. The crystal is an icon for infinite cosmic powers that you tap into when you pick up a crystal. Your body is an icon, a stunt double, a stand in for the infinite reality that is truly you. But when we don't want to accept that, we'll make ourselves sick because then it proves that the body isn't separate from you because now you're in the bed. Aha, I proved I'm only a human because I'm not ready to be God yet. Because I still, on some level, think that's blasphemous and I'm too big for my britches. I can't be God yet. Let me make myself sick. You suffer pain because the body does. And in this pain, you are made one with it. Oh, I'm just so in pain. No, you're not. The body's in pain, yet you put so much attention on the body and you told the body to be sick such to the extent that you couldn't get out of bed. Therefore, you have to prove that none of this Course Miracle stuff is true. Thus is your true identity preserved, and the strange, haunting thought that you might be something beyond this little pile of dust silenced and stilled. For see, this dust can make you suffer, twist your limbs, and stop your heart, commanding you to die and cease to be. See, the body is real. And I'm really separate from everyone else. And I must not be God, because if I was God, I wouldn't be laying in this hospital bed right now. I'd be laying in the bed right now. I'd be sitting in this chair, not able to move right now. I must be not God. I'll prove it. I'll prove I'm not God because I won't pick up my cot and walk. Thus is the body stronger than the truth, which asks you, live, but cannot overcome your choice to die. Truth asks you to live, yet it cannot value your choice to die. That's your choice. You want to die? Go right ahead. And you want to take a long time. Most people want to die, but they want to take a long time doing it. Let me plug in my phone, my computer. They want to die, but they want to take a long time doing it. So they start dying. You know, my mom and my grandmother both did it because that's the way of the world, and that's what they thought they needed to do. And I really think it was a lot of grace that they did it like that, because then it allowed us the opportunity to make our peace with what was happening. You know? Oh, I'll plug in right there, right behind me. Thank you, Spirit. Pardon me, I've been on the road and my computer is not fully plugged, fully charged. Please, please give me grace as I've been traveling. Give me grace while I serve you. Give Pastor a little grace, please. I'm here for you, I promise. All right? Okay, we plugged in, we got juice. So, this whole idea that you're just a body, you prove it to yourself every time you get sick. Thus is the body stronger than the truth, which as you live, the truth asks you to be God. The truth asks you to acknowledge your ultimate reality, your infinite, immortal nature and essence. The truth asks you to know that you do not need saving from anything. You're indestructible. The truth asks you to stop being fearful and to recognize that whenever you get sick, you're doing it. It's not a random event. I had to prove that to myself. That's why now, every time I get sick, I go to my mind. What's happening right now, Holy Spirit? I cannot ask my mind because my mind made up the sickness. I must go above my mind. Holy Spirit, what's happening right now? It could be Holy Spirit, voice for God, intuition. What's happening right now? I just go into meditation. It says, well, last time I had this sick experience, you're doing too much. Oh, I'm doing too much. Okay. Okay. And therefore, I'm reinforcing my beliefs that I'm a human. Because I do too much, I exhaust myself, I get sick, and I have to be in the bed. Of course, miracles is not true. What I believed is true after all. And so the more body is more powerful than everlasting life, heaven more frail than hell, and God's design for the salvation of his son opposed by a decision stronger than his will. His son is dust. The Father incomplete and chaos sits in triumph on his throne. So what are we really saying when we get sick? That you're very frail, that this whole God thing and you being God and you being infinite. Well, that's not so because look, people are just dying left and right. And well, we gave the God plan a good go, but it couldn't work because hell was stronger than heaven. And after all, we're just dust. To dust we are, dust from dust we came, and to dust we'll return. We really want chaos on the throne, such as you're planning for your own defense. And you believe that heaven quails before such mad attacks as these, with God made blind by your illusions, truth turned into lies, and all the universe made slave to laws which your defenses would impose on it, not real laws. Yeah, who believes illusions but the one who made them up? We're the only one that believes our bullshit story. And then we get mad at people when they don't co-sign. And an evolved, ascended person will never co-sign your littleness story. Oh, I'm so sick. It runs in my family, you know. It runs in your family. What does that mean? Well, mom had it, and her mama had it, and when I went to the doctor, they asked you about the past. Oh, yeah, they asked me about the past. Did your mother have this? Why? Because the whole framework of the doctor and of all the establishments in the third dimension, all constructs in the third dimension need time. They're going to take what happened in the past, they're going to throw it forward into the future, and there you keep having the same thing you had before. It runs in the family. They have proof of it. We have it on paper. Your mama had it, and now you have it. No. How about the whole family was under a similar delusion? Did anyone check our minds? Did we check mama's mind? Did we check grandma's mind? Did I check my mind? The only people who believe the illusion are the people who made them up. And then we get mad when people see through our bullshit story and tell us, sister, brother, what you are believing is not the truth. Don't you see me? Here we go, trying to prove the point. Don't you see me in this bed right now? I'm sick. What are you talking about, sister? Let's go to Christ. How long have you been lying by this pool? 30 something years. You made a career out of being sick, boo. Boo, you've made a career. You made a lifetime aim of being sick. You ever see hypochondriacs? They got something every time you turn around. They got, yeah, I think I got Ushkalushka last year. I got the C. I had the C a couple of times. Then before that, I had the flu, almost took me out. You ever see people that just love talking about all the sicknesses they have? Oh, the author got me. What's author? The itis. What you talking about? In my knee. Arthritis. Yeah, author. Wearing these things as a badge of fucking honor. Why? Oh, you suffered more than the rest of us. Let's give you the suffering award. Is that the award we're trying to get? Such as your planning for your own defense. Who else can see them and react to them as if they were the truth? So, therefore, God made blind by our illusions. That's what we think. So we pray to God, God, please, I'm sick, make me well. And heaven is like, what are they talking about? What are we talking about? God, heal me, please. There's nothing wrong with you. What is there to heal? It's an illusion. Change your mind. In Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, they have a saying that says God Himself, even God Himself, itself, herself, even Source itself is helpless in the face of stupid people. Even God is helpless before a stupid person, because if we just want to be dumbasses, have at it. You will get all the results of the dumbassery. God knows not of your plans to change His will. God doesn't know about your sickness. Many years ago on the YouTube channel, go watch that video on the YouTube channel. I talked about stop asking for money. I got this as an intuition from the angels, or whatever you want to call the higher order beings, the conscious agents in this universe that help us. They told me, we don't know anything about money. So when you're asking for that, we don't even know what you're talking about. Do you understand? On the other side of the veil, money doesn't exist. Everything is energy. Stop asking for money. Oh God, please give me money for my rent, money for this, money for that. God does not know what you are talking about, because God knows not of your plans to change His will. God's will is your complete abundance, but you had a little ass plan for lack. God's will for you is complete unconditional love, but you had a little dumbass plan that said you were abandoned and left and heartbroken and stabbed in the back and betrayed. God's plan for you is infinite happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness that is undisturbed, peace, and joy ever increasing. Yet I had little plans for depression and sadness and almost took myself out with my illusory little plans that I thought could change the will of God. I laugh at myself now because it's quite astonishing that in my little mind, I made up that I can change the will of God and the whole universe. The universe remains unheeding of the laws by which you thought to govern it. The universe is unheeding of your little laws. Laws that say you can get sick, and heaven has not bowed to hell nor life to death. Heaven doesn't know anything about all your little sicknesses and all your little diseases and all your little plagues and things that come upon you and then you die. Heaven doesn't know anything about it. You can but choose to think you die or suffer sickness or distort the truth in any way. What is created is apart from all of this. Defenses are plans to defeat what cannot be attacked. What is unalterable cannot change, and what is wholly sinless cannot sin. One day, we're going to accept that we are completely holy, whole, perfect, loved and lovable, and we have it all. One day we're going to accept the truth. One day. One day everyone will accept the truth. Such is the simple truth. It does not make appeal to might nor triumph. Truth doesn't have to fight you. It does not command obedience. Truth doesn't make you obey. That's lies. Falsehoods have to command obedience because something in you is like, that's the eternal voice for God that's in every being. Something here is not quite right. I can't put my finger on it. It's a statement that the five senses are not giving you the information that you're looking for, yet your sixth sense, your telepathic senses, your psychic senses, your spidey senses, all your clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, all your clairs are telling you something's off because truth doesn't command obedience, nor seek to prove how pitiful and futile your attempts to plan defenses that would alter it. It doesn't rub in your face that you're doing something it's futile. Truth merely wants to give you happiness, for such its purpose is. That is what Christ meant when he said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And a free mind is a happy mind. It's a relaxed mind. It's not a mind that's trying to plan every aspect of its future. It's a mind that trusts the universe implicitly because you are the universe is you. And it knows the only purpose the universe is serving for you in this third dimension is to make you happy. Perhaps it sighs a little when you throw away its gifts, and yet it knows with perfect certainty that what God wills for you must be received. Well, you receive it now or you receive it 20 years from now. Completely up to you. The universe will still be here. Do you really want to drag yourself through 20 more years of pain and suffering, or lack of limitation, or not enough, or littleness, or carrying around grudges, or fighting with other people, or not being enough, or having secret shames and secret guilt? Do you really want to go another 20 years from now, or do you want to just drop it today? It is this fact that demonstrates that time is an illusion. For time lets you think what God has given you is not the truth right now. Oh, after I do this, then I'll be happy. Wait a minute, I gotta postpone my happiness. Wait a minute, give me the calendar. The 10th of February, I'm gonna be happy. But first, I have to solve all these problems because I just have. Don't you see all my problems? I'm wearing my problems. See my sleeve? I've got my money problems right here, and see my other sleeve. This is my relationship problems, and right here on my chest, I have all my health problems because I have to take out my pill box with all my Monday, Tuesday. Who in the world is carrying a pill box with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on it? Wow. It's Monday and you're planning to be sick on Saturday. What is that but taking the past and hurling it into the future? Nothing wrong with pills. Take all the pills you like. Examine your mind. Examine your mind, beloved. For time lets you think what God has given you is not the truth right now because we believe in time as it must be. The thoughts of God are quite apart from time. The thoughts of God are not dependent upon time. They're not in time. They're apart from time. For time is but another meaningless defense you made against the truth. Yet what he wills is here, and you remain as he created you. I remain as God created me. Timeless. You're timeless. You're immortal. We keep believing in time. Truth has a power far beyond defense. For no illusions can remain where truth has been allowed to enter. Allow truth to enter your mind and just throw out all the furniture. See, there's a sofa, and that's the sofa where I used to sit and ruminate about all my problems. Just let truth throw that sofa out. You ain't got no problems. When I was growing up in New York City, the firemen had this habit, and I guess it would help stop fires. Literally, when there was a fire, we used to have a lot of fires in New York City because these little old buildings were rat traps and people used to smoke in bed and all those kinds of things, right? So, and we didn't have smoke detectors. I know this was the Stone Ages. Well, when the firemen used to come, and there were only firemen, there were no women because they didn't think that women could do things like that. That was the level of our consciousness, right? I'm telling you, Stone Ages. Well, um, they used to come into the apartment building And let's say the fire was on the fourth floor. They would run into the apartment with the fire hose and everything, open the windows, and they would throw all the furniture out the window. And we never really understood why the firemen did that, yet they probably had a very good reason for doing that. Uh, a better question would have been, why were we fucking smoking in bed? That would have been a better question. Why were we leaving cigarettes all around the house without putting them out? That would have been a better question. However, that wasn't the question we were asking. We were asking why the firemen were doing what they were doing, even though they came to help us. They would just throw all the furniture out the window. And what we're saying here is that that is a metaphor. Let you have a fire raging in your mind. The fire is I'm a human. The fire is I get sick. The fire is something could jump on me at any minute. You see, the fire is fear. And someone called the fire department, the angels, God, Holy Spirit, Christ, Krishna, Buddha, whatever works for you, called the upper forces to help put out the fire. And Course in Miracles, and now you stumbled upon this wild lady on YouTube. And all of a sudden now you're like, whoa, I think they just called the firemen, the fire people, to put this fire out that's been raging in my mind for how long? Racism, hating people because of what color they were born into. That is one of the most bizarre beliefs we hold on the planet. And inherently thinking that other people are different inherently because of the suit they're wearing to this ball, their avatar. And now the firemen came and they're throwing out all the furniture out the window. You don't need it anymore. They're clearing out the whole space. They threw out the window that sofa that you used to sit on and ruminate about your problems. They threw out the window all your spreadsheets where you were carefully mapping all your plans for the future. They threw out all your life insurance policies because you thought that no one was going to be able to bury you. Hell, burn what's left and toss it into the ocean. They're throwing away all the plots that you went to get your plot and plan your, is this going to be my resting place right next? Your resting place is not in a pine box in the earth. Your eternal resting place is God. Truth has a power far beyond defense, for no illusions can remain where truth has been allowed to enter. Let the firemen come in and throw all the furniture out the window. And it comes to any mind that would lay down its arms and cease to play with folly. After a while, I was fighting so much and I was depressed, I was sad, and I was in lack limitation, never had enough money, couldn't understand why, no matter how much money I made. Black hole consciousness. Well, I decided one day, maybe I'm playing this game. Not wrong, inappropriately. Maybe there's a better way to play this game. I think I'm just going to lay down my arms. I'm not going to fight anymore. And I'm going to allow, I'm going to trust, I'm going to love, I'm going to allow joy and happiness to spring spontaneously from my heart. I'm going to have spontaneous eruptions of bliss and ecstasy. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to be in euphoria. Let's do it. It is found at any time today if you will choose to practice giving welcome to the truth. You can be out of jail right now, wholly not in time. Don't put a process in it. Well, I'm healing. Take the ing off, replace it with an ed. You're healed. Pick up your cotton walk. Stop making a career. I know someone listening to this is making a career out of being sick. Stop making a career out of it. Stop demanding that all your friends, it's a control mechanism because all your friends got to keep asking you, how are you? Are you better? Because I was just been praying for you. Because you know how much we love you. And you need to hear that because you don't love yourself yet. And you need people to constantly tell you that because you forgot your own love that's inside. Let's be free, shall we? Let's be free of all this. This is our aim today, and we will give a quarter of an hour twice to ask the truth to come to us and set us free. Please, truth, come to me and set my mind free. Twice today, 15 minutes this morning, sometime when it is most amenable to you, 15 minutes this evening. And truth will come. For it's never been apart from us. The truth was standing in our minds the entire time. Anytime she wants to stop looking at illusions, I'll be right here to rescue her and throw out all the furniture. Yep, her apartment is on fire, yet I cannot act until she decides to call truth in. So I'll just wait. Oh, I got an eternity because I can't be destroyed. I'm truth after all. And truth just waits silently and quietly for us to call the fire department. Oh my goodness, my mind's on fire. And then truth says, you rang. Yes, truth, help me. Sure. It's never been apart from you. It merely waits for just this invitation, which you give today, which we give today. We introduce it with a healing prayer to help us rise above defensiveness and let truth be as it always has been. As it has always been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. Even if you don't believe it, just try it out. Try the exercises. It doesn't say you have to believe the exercises. Okay, I'm going to test it. I'm going to take it into the laboratory of my life and I'm going to see if it has any validity. Prove it for yourself. Don't believe me because I don't believe me. I test it. Sickness is a defense against the truth. This is our healing prayer. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. I'm not going to be in time. I'm not going to be in some process. I hear people say that all the time. Oh, I'm getting there. Oh, I'm working it out. Oh, I'm in a process. Stop your process and have it now. If someone put your favorite dessert in front of you, big, delicious, vegan, some delicious something in front of you. Oh, like those incredible desserts we were having in Dubai. We were so hooked on them. We were going every day to the dessert place in Dubai. There's this exquisite heaven of a place. And we were being there eating this some decadent, lovely dessert. They had the vegan chocolate cake and it's all vegan things and other things. Imagine you have this delicious dessert in front of you. And imagine that you say to this dessert, well, I think I'm going to take 2 years to eat you. And you just take your finger and you pinch off a crumb and you eat a crumb. Or are you gulping it down now? You want to wait 2 years to eat your dessert? Or would you like your dessert right now and enjoy it? Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal. Sickness goes and hides. Let me just hide in this little dark corner because she didn't come shine the light in here yet. And keep defended from the light of truth. No, I'm going into all the dark corners of my mind with a big old light. There will be no dim figures from your dreams. Oh my God, there's a monster coming to get me. Nor their obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes insanely sought, remaining in your mind. All kinds of craziness remaining in my mind. Boogeymen, things that can jump on me, things that can get me, threats, people that can get me or my kids or my fill in the blank. Isn't that exhausting? Fear is exhausting. It will be healed of all the sickly wishes that it tried to authorize the body to obey. Now, body, you be sick because I have to prove my position. I can't believe all this Course Miracle stuff that I'm immortal. I can't believe that I'm really supposed to be happy all the time. What am I going to do with all my time? I spent so much time being sick. I spent so much time fighting with people. I spent so much time feeling guilty. I mean, they became kind of entertaining. It was something to do. What am I going to do with all the time now that I'm not sick and I'm happy all the time? Who wants to be happy all the time? Well, that's a good question. I do. I'm sure you do too if you're here. Now is the body healed because the source of sickness has been open to relief. The body is healed because the mind is healed. The only way the body can be healed permanently is because the mind is healed. Otherwise, you're just looking for a cure. You're just looking for a pill to take today that you'll have to take again tomorrow, that you'll have to take again. And here comes the pill box with the 7 days. It's Sunday. Well, what's my schedule? Can y'all help me with my schedule? No, I'm not helping you with your schedule because I'm not going to feed your illusion that you're sick. No, stop it. And when someone says that, you say, oh, they're not compassionate. You're so mean. It's horrible. How could you say something like that to them? Well, I'm saying pick up your cot and walk. Because Christ asked the man, how long have you been here? Oh, you made a whole career out of being sick. Um, then he has a very powerful question. Do you want to be well? Do you want to be healed? Because no one would make a choice for 30 something years that you don't want to make. Stop being a victim. You don't want to be well, it would appear. And look, Christ had to ask him that before he did anything for him, because your choice, if you want to be sick, Christ was compelled to keep on walking. I can't help you because your mind is the final say, not God. We say God's word is the final say. No, it's not. God's word is the final say when you says it is, when you say it is. Your mind can keep you crazy and prisoner forever. Until, thank you, Spirit, not forever, could keep you replaced forever with until. You must choose it, beloved. You must choose it. You must choose it. Choose it now. Don't choose it when you're at the door of death, like I was. Oh, I'm ready to die. I'm depressed. Let me take this bottle of pills. 800 milligram Motrin. How many would it take for me to just go to sleep and I'll wake up? I just wanted a long nap. I was even deceiving myself in that. Oh, you're copping out on the third dimension, huh? The time was too much for you, huh? Ancestors were asking me, oh, so you asked for this and you got in it, and it's too much for you, huh? It's too much. I can't do it. Well, here's what my inner being said: live or go out. That was all. It was very calm. It didn't compel me one way or the other. It simply, there was a choice. I could live in this avatar and fulfill what purpose I had, which is a very good purpose, for coming into an avatar body in the first place. You have a purpose that you did this. It's not meaningless and purposeless. It said, and if you're going to live, really live. I was like, really live? Yes, smell the roses. Put your feet in the dirt. Eat the mangoes. Eat the juicy peach with the juice dripping down your chin. Watch the sunset. I like, be all in. Don't be a zombie. Just undead. Most people are zombies. They're undead. So he asked the man, do you want to be well? Yes. Yes, because the first thing, the man was offering excuses. The man was the only one in the illusion. I don't know if this story is really true or not. I don't care. I got the point of the story. The point of the story was there is a man laying by the pool, and every day an angel came down at the exact same time and troubled the waters. And everyone who jumped in the waters as they were being troubled were healed instantaneously, outside of and independent of time. And this one laying by the pool, lying there, well, what's going on with you? Oh, look how many people have come and gone for decades. And they came in crippled and blind and this, and they jumped in the waters. Here come the angel. Boom. It's an energy story, if you get it. It's a vibrational frequency story, like the whole book. The whole Bible is manual of frequency and energy. Magic, mysticism, all of it. Metaphor, allegory, all of it. Numerology, astrology. So he looked at him. He said, what happened? Here came the man's illusions and excuses. You've heard them every time I try to get into the water. Being a victim, now trying to convince the Christ presence of his victim story. How successful do you think you're going to be when you're praying to God, telling God how much of a victim you are? That's what my prayers used to look like. That's why I stopped praying. That's what my prayers used to look like. Trying to convince heaven of how much of a victim I was and why I was so pitiful that I needed the help of heaven immediately to come save me from my victim self. How's the universe going to help you when you still are a victim? How? I didn't get that part yet. I hadn't gotten that part yet. And how am I going to be saved when the problem is in my mind and only I can change my mind? Now, heaven can help me. They can send me 222 on my phone and 1111, and they can send the angels and they can put the pennies in front of me and they just keep throwing things at me. What can we throw at her today for her to get it? Let's do 7 synchronicities. Let's let a hawk come, a hummingbird coming from the front of her window, a dove, 1111 on a phone. Heaven is planning out all the synchronicities it's going to throw at you today. Hoping the ancestors are like, Lord Jesus, is today going to be the day that this child gets it? That's what my ancestors were doing. And I'm just walking around blind and I'm a victim. Oh, wow, 1111. I keep seeing that. I think it's trying to tell me something. Man, I'm still a victim. I was seeing the synchronicities. They're like, oh, Lord, will she put together the dots? Connect the dots, boo. They were yelling at me from heaven. Boo, connect the dots. I think there's some dots. Yeah. There are some dots. Connect them. Wait a minute. Let me pause and be still and meditate for a minute. And I meditate and I hear connect the dots. Ooh, connect the dots. That would have to mean there's some dots to connect. Well, I did see 1111. See, that's how we're kind of groping around, figuring this thing out. Because we're so insane. We're by the pool. We want to be victims. We want to be human. We don't want to believe we're God because we were told that was blasphemous. And we were told that by people that wanted to keep us trapped in their power hole. There were power mongers. There were control mongers and power mongers and liars and deceivers. And that's what, from Roman all the way up to now, that's why they wanted to, this whole Christian thing that they created, the way they confiscated true Christianity and turned it into a monstrosity of obedience and people that wear big pointy hats. Did you ever see a hat on Christ? Did you ever hear of Christ wearing a hat at all, especially a big pointy one? Did you ever hear any of these things? How do you look at the Bible, read the Bible, and get this church? The two don't match. And you'll see that if you look clearly. They don't match. Maybe some of them had very good intentions. I don't know. I do know the overall design of it is control of your mind, because you have to keep coming back to them to get some penance. You have to keep coming back to them to get some grace. You have to keep coming back to them to be inspired every Sunday. You have to keep coming back to them to give them your money. The engine needs you to feed it and run it. And they said the Catholic Church realized that they were dying off because people are like, I'm not going to keep being guilt-ridden for the rest of my life. It doesn't feel good. So then they went to Africa and they said, okay, we got to go to Africa because there's a whole billion people there. And let's get as many African people as we can get. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Rather than let yourself die, because just based on rubbish, I said it. And that is a bold statement. I realize that. And all religion has one purpose: to control you. Now, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I didn't like it. I was in a religion for almost 3 decades. I devoted, and I was in the religion, and I was a good girl, and I was doing what they asked. Well, then you get to change your mind. The man by the pool did not need anything other than to change his mind from victim to God. He asked him, after he gave his victim story, everybody runs out of me into the pool. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then that's when the Christ presence asked, do you want to be made well? Because I can't do anything for you if you just insisted on being a victim and being sick. I just can't help you. I want to help you. I can't violate the laws of the universe. Yes, I want to be made well. Then damn it, pick up your cotton walk. You're doing too much. We don't need the drama. Get up. And in that very instant, he got up. Now is the body healed because the source of sickness has been opened to relief. And you will recognize you practiced well by this. The body should not feel at all. You shouldn't feel anything in the body at all. If you have been successful, there will be no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, of pain or pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains and nothing more. That we use the body, and most of the time, my body is simply tingling with the life essence of prana, chi, Ashe, the vital life force energy of God, force rushing through the body because I allow it, because I'm asking for my mind to be corrected from the many errors I hold. The body is neutral. Perhaps you do not realize that this removes the limits you had placed upon the body by the purposes you gave it. As these are laid aside, the strength the body has will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. All the truly useful purposes that you are here to serve, the body will always be able to do it. The body's health is fully guaranteed. Your health is fully guaranteed by your purpose because it is not limited by time, by weather, or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made it serve before. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. Make your mind, ooh, I want to jump up and run around here today. Somebody better know they're in church. You better make your mind a place where sickness is impossible. Ooh, get me there, Jesus. Get me there, Jesus. Of course, it's showing you the possibilities. In case you forgot, the infinite possibilities before you. In case you forgot that you need never be sick again. In case you forgot that your health is fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. And we thought something else. It was fully guaranteed that one day I was going to get sick and I was going to die. That's a guarantee. No, it's not. Health is the guarantee. It doesn't say only for vegans. It doesn't say only for flexitarians, pescatarians. It doesn't say only for people on the keto diet. It doesn't say if you exercise, you'll be healthy. It doesn't say if you really take all your vitamins, if you get a checkup from your doctor every year. Do we understand these are the laws we made the body serve? Take all the laws of the body that you made it serve, that you need this amount of vitamins, this amount of minerals, this amount of this, you need this doctor this day, you need to go, you need all these pills in your little pill box Sunday to Saturday, you need to get a checkup of this, you need people to stick things up your butt, you need people to stick things up your punani, you need people to stick things up your nose, you need people to look in your ears, look down your throat, you need people to probe and prod you. You need people to poke you. You need people to stab you, cut you open, take things out of your body. All of this is, it need not be. It's lunacy. When I had fibroids, which I don't have anymore because all I had to do was remove that from my mind and the fibroids went away. Do you see that the things in the body don't have anything to establish themselves upon when the thought is gone? This is the great secret of metaphysicians, all master metaphysicians throughout time, from Emily Cady to uh, Florence Scovel Shinn, Wallace Waddles, Dr. Yarla Van Sant, Valerie Love. I would throw myself in there because that is what my desire is. That's what I came to be. All the master metaphysicians throughout time told you that everything in your world, its existence, is dependent upon a thought or group of thoughts that you are holding in consciousness. Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, all of us said the same thing. Eckhart Tolle, we all said the same thing. You didn't hear any of us tell you, oh, you need more doctors because you're really sick. This looks really bad. You need more doctors. We didn't tell you, oh, wow, you need to work harder to get some more money because you really, we all told you the same thing. It's in your mind. When I discovered the great secret of the universe, that all of this is in my mind, all of it, your whole life is in your mind. Hold the phone, stop the presses. What? All of it is in your mind. Emily Cady will tell you that. Lessons in Truth. Edgar Casey will tell you that. Go to the Edgar Casey Association for Research and Enlightenment. Wallace Waddles will tell you that, how to be successful and rich, because once it's in your mind, Think and Grow Rich will tell you that. It says think and grow rich. It didn't say work harder and grow rich. I'm sure you're going to do something. Of course, you're going to do some actions on the third dimensional plane. Don't think that you are not going to do anything on the third dimensional plane to cause us to be. All of the metaphysicians throughout time, Alan Watts, and he wouldn't probably even call himself a metaphysician, Alan Watts, all of the teachers throughout time who said it's not in manipulating things outside you, it is in your mind. If you really be with that, you'll start looking at the world like, oh, that's in my mind. Just walk around all day, oh, that's in my mind. Ah, that's in my mind. Uh-huh. That's how the body's health is fully guaranteed. You need do nothing to make it well because sickness has become impossible. If we really get this, we'll never be sick again and we'll never fear sickness again. Yet this protection needs to be preserved by careful watching. If you let your mind, here's the rub. If you let your mind harbor attack thoughts, they did that to me, she did that to me, they did that to me, they did that, my mama didn't do that, and my daddy didn't do that. Harboring attack thoughts under the surface, little mumblings and groanings under the surface, but hey, love and light. But deep down inside, I got this kernel of. If we yield to judgment or make plans against uncertainties to come, oh, I got to make this happen and make that happen and make sure nothing bad doesn't happen. You have again misplaced yourself and made a bodily identity which will attack the body, for the mind is sick. Your body identity has to attack your body. You made up a plan that has to attack yourself because you told yourself you're little, you're weak, you're frail, and you need a lot of defenses. So you have to get the results of that. As Dr. G. Lee says, you always get to be right. Give instant remedy should this occur. Okay, should I catch myself harboring judgments, harboring attack thoughts, harboring fears, harboring old hurts? Let me catch myself. It says, do not, if you let your mind, what does that mean? It means my mind will try to return to the attack thoughts. If you let it, no, mind, I forgave that. That's over. I lay that at the feet of truth. It disappeared. Here's the truth. Or yield to judgment or make your plans, you're going to hurt yourself. That's what the Course is telling us. If you do those things, you're going to hurt yourself. Give instant remedy. Now, should this happen, we have a life raft. Grab it. Here's an instant remedy. It says instant remedy should this occur by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you longer. Please don't stay in the sickness. Do not be confused about what must be healed, but tell yourself, don't be confused and think the body needs something. The body needs nothing. Let's go back to it again. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. Here's the prayer. Here's what to tell yourself. I have not forgotten what I really am. I have not forgotten what I really am. For I mistook my body for myself. I thought the body was the totality of me. I was so deeply identified with a body that I really thought I was sick. Sickness is a defense against the truth. Sickness is trying to make me think that I'm apart from God, but I am not a body. I am not a body. I am not a body. No one is a body. And all my protesting in the streets that Black Lives Matter is just solidifying the truth that I think in my mind that I'm separate from other bodies. Those bodies are white. These bodies are Black. And because I'm identified with a Black body, I've been saying it for years on YouTube, I'm not a Black woman. I just look like one. No one has even seen you in ultimate reality. You don't have a face in ultimate reality. You're infinite energy, as is all. Quantum physics has proven it. Well, we're down here getting sick, getting mad, getting sick. Trans people fighting straight people. Why? No one's trans, and no one's gay, and no one's straight, and no one has a penis, and no one has a vagina in infinite reality or infinite energy. People are not having sex up there. It's cosmic energy. We're doing all that stuff in the third dimension, and it's fun, and we enjoy it. It's great. When you're in intimate reality, it's a continuous orgasm. You don't have to do mechanics to have an infinite orgasm. You don't have to put a penis into a vagina or a penis into a mouth or whatever the configuration is. You don't have to do any of that because you're in infinite orgasm as your state and way of being. We're doing things mechanically to get into that state. Your true self is already there. It is euphoria. I'm not a body, and my mind cannot attack. So I cannot be sick. Tell yourself that. And you'll be telling yourself the truth. I'm done talking. Floor is open.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
God morning, Coach Michelle.
Wow. This just threw everything out the door. All that we've been brainwashed to believe. This lays hold to what is going on or what is believed to be going on right now, because something is going on. I can't say exactly what it is, but it lays hold to that. I mean, shut the door on hospitals. I mean, shut the door on preventiveness, should I say. I mean, even yesterday with the planning, because there is a lot of preventiveness in healing, in, I guess, moving ahead, that it just lays hold to so much. And then it provided us a gift with an instant remedy to instantly rid yourself. I mean, so often we hear send prayers. So often, we hear the call for help. And, we're always holding space and, we're sending light and love and all these different things. And I guess I'm just looking at this from an area of, okay, let's send you your own remedy. Let's send you what you can go within and do. Like you said, pick your card up and walk. You don't have to be there. This does not have to go on. Or if you have so chosen that this is your time, then we are in celebration with you because you have made this your time. I guess these are just revelations for me. So I am in awe with it because they are the whole thing with remembering. I'm just like, okay, because we hear that, we made the choice. We set the plan, we planned our parents. Whatever this journey is, it was set before us. We just don't remember that we did it, but we did it. So, I hold true to that because, for me, in my understanding, it helped me out with, there are no victims. Because if I chose this, if I planned this before, how am I a victim to what I agreed to? Now we get into that, we have the body, but we know we're not the body. We're spirit, we're energy. However, we operate in the body on this third dimensional plane. In this dual reality, we operate according to how this body moves, or how I would say the mind, because it's not completely healed, has this body moving and operating. But we are getting so much, with the healing of the mind, which now actually puts us in control of the body instead of the body in control of us. Because I think a lot of us are walking around, well, I would say me, I have walked around with the body in control of what I do rather than me in control of what the body does. And I love how it says, you know, if we are here and there's no sickness, then, you know, we don't have to lay hold to the food or the drink or the fatigue. How are we tired? We don't have to, just as we're not sick, we don't have to be tired. We don't have to do a lot of these things because these are bodily things. The spirit and the mind isn't tired. It is the body. I'm probably not complete, but I'm a yield now because this right here, this is good. I believe this will be, you know, one of my faves and one I would really, really like to spread and share because I believe, you know, so much sickness or different things like that is going around, and you just don't have to be in that place. You really just don't have to be in that place. And me, myself, I know you don't have to be in that place because I would say with everything going around, I let my boys went back to school. And with them going back to school, yes, they came up with saying, you know, they had this or whatever. Nonetheless, there's no one in the household. It's them and it's me. Then they came up with them having it, but I'm right in here with them. And I'm standing there with them the entire time. But me with nothing, not doing nothing, you know, we're still watching movies. We're still eating together. You know, ain't nobody sitting in the house eating with no mask. That's just not happening. But still to this whole time, you know, I'm good. So I get it. I get it where the mind really plays a role in it. And I would also say it plays a role in it because when they came up with this, they were saying, like, one of my sons, but then my other son, my older son was like, well, if he gets to stay home, I want to stay home too.
So then he came up with
it. You know, nothing's going on with you. You know, you don't have to tell me that little boy didn't come back home. He said, Ma, I get to stay home. I said, you know
10
what?
days.
That's fine. I said, you didn't will this in. Everybody's fine, playing game, you know, on the video, everything all day long. Ain't nothing going on with nobody. But, you know, you're like, oh, no, but they have to stay home. I said, you know what? So be it. I ain't fighting it. But once again, this is amazing. I am complete for now.
Isn't it amazing? I still remember. This is how deeply embedded my belief is that food has something to do with the body more than the mind, right? As Coach Michelle said, we get to flip it now. The body was running the show, and now no. The spirit is spirit, mind, body, not body, mind, spirit. It's spirit, mind, body. Spirit will correct my mind, and my body will be just perfect. I remember. Oh, what was I about to say? I don't even remember what I was about to say. Okay, let's go to Zaire. It'll come back to me. How you loving, Zaire?
I'm loving wonderful, Kaisi. Hey, Coach Michelle.
Good morning. Hey, Zaire.
Hey. Yes, I definitely. This was a great lesson with the whole sickness and stuff like that, and with the mind, because I know this was like one of my fears that I'm still working through is just pain in general and sickness and dis-ease, because I'm just like, no, like it just seems horrible of just growing up, you know, as a child and as a teenager and someone in the 20s, and just constantly seeing like the older generation in my family constantly say, oh, just wait till you get older. Oh, you young now. Oh, you just wait. You just wait. You want to see how your knees give out, how your back give out. You know, how like you can't do this and that. And how your bladder may get weakened and all of this. Like, wait,
no.
Why are seeing this? Is this what happens when like you get old? So even as a child, I had developed this fear, I could say, of getting older because I was associating with it as when you get older, you automatically will get sick. You will automatically getting pain.
That's
like
what
I
we
have
believe.
watched, I have watched my mom, deal with some type of mysterious whatever that I still have no idea what truly went on with her. No one is telling me. I seen like what happened with my grandmother, like when you was talking about like what runs in the family, like when it comes to like the mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what I have to look forward to? Or seeing like my grandfather in like tremendous pain, like until he passed away, and just seeing a bunch of like just with my family of just going through like sickness and disease. And so for me, and just hearing it, like how it was just all in my mind. So I got into this point of, oh my gosh, I got to go into prevention mode. I have to be in a prevention mode of to do to prevent me of having this seem like this inevitable fate of just horrible pain of being an adult and being in sickness. I'm like, well, what's the point of growing up if that's what I have to look forward to, right? So I love the lesson when we had spoke about that it's all in the mind. That is the mind that is doing these things, and like all of the sickness stuff is a choice. Like that's a really powerful statement that I think will probably make a lot of people upset. If they're not in the Course of Miracles and hear, oh no, your sickness is a choice. I wouldn't dare probably say that to one of my family members. Like, oh no, it's a choice that you're feeling like this. It's a choice that you're feeling sick, But it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's the truth for me. Even if something may come down on me, it was a choice through my mind. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing of just the empowerment that we are getting from the lessons from the Course of Miracles. That no, it's a choice. Like it's not some fate that's going to happen because it's just inevitable. Oh, because it just runs in the family. Oh, that's just the way it is. Okay. Or I've always been thinking like, oh no, it's the food. It's the food that's causing us to make the body act in a way. I still semi believe that because my consciousness hasn't gotten to that point where, I could just eat anything and like everything is fine. Like I can feel the difference if I have too much salt in my system, or I can feel the difference if I have too much sugar. Like different things may happen, but I know that's my mind telling myself that. Or, oh snap, Mother Nature is about to come, Auntie Flo's about to come. Oh, that means you're about to get cramps. Oh, that means you're about to get a pimple on your face. Oh, that means you're about to get all super sensitive and start, being whatever, because it's about to be that time of the month. But it's just the mind. It's just the mind. It's just a choice. So that's a very powerful lesson, and I definitely appreciate that, Casey. And I'm going to stop talking for now.
This is how the lie passes on, generation to generation. Oh, wait till you're going to have it. These death pronouncements over our lives, as if our lives, as if they were true, as if they were factual, as if everyone has it. And you can even look around now and you see everyone doesn't have it. You see 80, 90, and 100-year-olds getting up doing things, and they're hailed as the absurdity. If one person can do it, everyone can do it. Stop it. Yeah, Angel? You love it.
I love it. This lesson has me bugging out, like, because I'm really seeing, like, it really is. I mean, we're hearing and doing these lessons, like, it's in the mind, it's in the mind. However, as we go along, like, I'm just playing back in my life certain situations, and I'm seeing, like, it really was, like, oh, shit, it was my mind. Like, when I was, like, I was listening to Tania, like, when I was about to turn 30, my mother was like, would be telling me, oh, you know, had all this kids and da 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 da. And when you turn 30, your body just wait, just watch. I'm like, yeah, all right, ma, whatever. But I guess I believed her because it's like literally my 30th birthday. I woke up sore as hell, like for no reason, like, and I'm like, damn, it was because I believed it when she said it, and it's just it's crazy to me. Like it's crazy. I'm really seeing like it is really all our mind. Like with the whole word that we don't use. Like my kids, me and my kids, we traveled. We went to Arizona and came back, and my kids were in school and they were out of school, and I was going to appointments and going to the store, and I ain't wearing no mask. I have asthma. Like, well, I don't even, I can't say that. I don't have asthma. It's in my head. I know. However, it's like something that I was still battling with at that time, like during the, I guess, like the middle of the P word. And I was like, I'm not about to be wearing this mask. I gotta breathe. Like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I never wanted to wear one, never wore one, never believed in it. When I heard it, I was like, not even on this path yet, but it just sounded like a bunch of fuckery to me. And I was like, yeah, all right. Yes. And with that being said, like nothing ever happened. Like none of us ever have gotten it. None of us ever, I never did. And we never stopped doing anything out of the ordinary. Like we stay in the neighborhood with a bunch of kids, and all the kids were still outside playing, parents still outside barbecuing it. And it was like, I mean, you had your few weirdos that was walking around with a basco outdoors, you know, but it was, everybody was okay. And I'm just really, I guess, like, I'm just really, really seeing, like, I know that what you eat is important, and you're supposed to take care of your body temple. However, I'm also seeing like even without me doing that, like I wasn't. It's my mind. Like it really is my mind, and I don't know. I'm just very, very grateful for these lessons. It's like I'm really learning that it is really like I'm seeing. It's like my life has been flashing in front of my eyes these last couple of lessons, and I'm really seeing that it was a lot of things were really literally on my mind, including being sick. So we're no longer sick in this house. And with that, I'm complete.
Congratulations that you made the choice to stop being sick. And as I was listening to Zaire, it's very true. If you try to tell people that they're not sick, that's not going to work, right? If you went to people that hold this belief, I have to be sick, I have to die, the whole and package anew. I like that question. What if our sickness is part of God's plan? Yeah, that's what people say too. All these things. I'm not asking you to not believe it. I really don't care what you believe. I'm not here to change your beliefs. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not. That's not my job. My job is to share, to inspire. Something is being shared with you. Do what you will with it. Do what you will with it. It's your choice. Infinitely and ultimately, it is your choice. The question is, am I going to believe more in sickness than in health? Am I going to believe more in guilt than in holiness? Wholeness. Am I going to believe more in shame or in innocence? Am I going to set myself free? Now, the reason that you don't have to say anything to people who are having the experience is because your mind is so powerful that it is sending out a frequency of what you're really thinking. So when you walk in the room, people can pick up on your frequency. We call it a vibe when you walk in the room. It happened last night. So we had my daughter. My daughter had her incredible God is Elevated event yesterday. It was magnificent. She launched her product line. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. We had on our purple and honoring my mother, who her color was purple. Now in spirit realms is one of the ancestors that likes to kick my booty when it's time and love me up when it's time, right? So she launched her product line and everything. And last night there was a lady who came in and I hugged her. And I noticed that as I hugged her, she was kind of looking at me like this is kind of unusual or something. And I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. I just hugged her because that's just what I do, right? I'm not grabbing people and hugging them if they don't want to be hugged. I mean, she was standing there and she came in the door. I welcomed her into the goddess circle. So we had the goddess circle and we were talking, and I began talking about the divine feminine because my daughter asked me. I wasn't taking over her thing. I was sitting back and chilling and holding the space, holding the vibration of the truth. That's all you have to do. Because there is the electromagnetic activity of this mind. There's an activity of your mind. There's an activity of divine mind that's always occurring and always working on all people present. That's why the Course says when you walk the way, you're leaving stars in your footprints that point the way, and other people say, oh, go this way. Not because you told them. You don't have to tell them anything. Hold it. Hold the knowing of the truth and walk like Christ did, like Moses did, like all the patriarchs, all the greats, all of them. They weren't proselytizers. Neither am I. Just know the truth. Well, I spoke in the circle. I taught about the divine feminine, why they were having issues with the men, which I am very happy that all the men in my life love me dearly. I love them, and they treat me wonderfully like a king, like kings and queens. That's how we like to carry it. So I was teaching things, about this lovely man I was in a relationship with. He bought me all these diamonds and emeralds, and oh my God, baby daddy, oh, just lovely. Just had me laced and laid. I didn't even know how much the mortgage was. I didn't know how much anything was. I didn't care. That wasn't what I was there for. He handled it. He had it all on lock. Okay. So I'm teaching about the divine essence. The divine feminine is not about all this work and all of this. After I taught, about the divine feminine, especially on the eve of the full moon, we're in the full moon energy now. So you want that stuff to die. If you want to be more in your divine femininity of magnetism, then you want to shift your mind. At the end, the same lady that I hugged in the beginning came up to me and said, and gave me this big embracing hug. She said, now I can hug you. Because at first, when you were hugging me, I didn't know what was going on. Like, I don't know this lady, and we in Philly. Well, we in the hood. We might have to pull out a gap or something. I don't know this lady. At the end, and I can understand that. I'm from the hood too. I completely understand. Trust me. No, if a random person walk up and hug you, they about to shank you. They about to pickpocket you. We didn't think that in the event. And I'm not saying she was thinking that. I'm saying that these are some of the prevailing consciousnesses that had happened in the hood. And we weren't in the hood. We were in the goddess circle. And she came up to me at the end and she gave me this big, beautiful embrace. And she said, now I can hug you because now I understand what that hug was about. You don't have to say anything. It's in your being. So therefore, you won't have to argue with a lot of people and try to move them off their position. If you want to be sick, have at it. If you want to be sick, have at it. I'm going to hold in my mind the truth. There's only one consciousness that I can change. I'm not here to change your consciousness. I am changing my mind. And that will affect all minds. Pick up your cot and walk. Come on, Max and Dr. Jiwa. How you loving?
I'm well. How are you?
Fabulous.
Very nice. Yeah, this whole sickness thing is, this is where I've chosen to do my work this incarnation. Being
people who think
a practitioner of energy medicine and all that stuff, and just helping people understand how their thoughts are things that are the root cause of all illness. Not some, all. And just looking at it scientifically, this whole thing about genetics and people thinking that they're destined to have certain things happen to them genetically. And then this discovery of epigenetics within the past couple of decades, this whole thing of where there are these sensors on our genes that activate part of the gene or turn it off based on the environment that it's exposed to. And so when they discovered this epigenetics, the first thing, first when they discovered that they could decode the genome, the pharmaceutical companies and everybody else was on top of it trying to think of all the things that they could do to capitalize on understanding genetics, the human genome.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a while, they, started discovering different parts, and epigenetics was one of these things, this like antenna kind of thing on the gene that turns certain things on and off. So it's based on environment. And so they were looking at all different kinds of environment, like, what, where you lived and what kind of air you breathed. Did that affect people who got certain kinds of lung cancer that turned on certain genes? Or what you ate, or different chemicals that you were exposed to. But one of the things that they really hadn't explored, but which is the thing that is the end all be all of environment, are our thoughts. We're thinking all the time. And our thoughts have an energy. They cause chemical reactions in our body. Mm-hmm. They cause a whole host of things to happen that changes the environment that our bodies have and signal genes on and off. So you can think yourself sick as well as think yourself well, just based on science alone, not even talking about, consciousness and vibration and all that kind of stuff. It's just plain old scientific terms. So it's, multi-level, and all the levels are the same, and all the levels are the truth. It's just different expressions of the same thing. That your consciousness is a container of beliefs. And God consciousness is basically, I am that I am. I am omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. All those are knowingness, or can be seen as beliefs to people who may differ or may scrutinize whether or not they want to believe that it's true. But then we have our own beliefs that we put in our consciousness that's not in alignment with God consciousness. And so when we put those things in that container of our consciousness, we hold those things until we're ready to give them forth or forgive the things that are blocking the original intent. I am. So everything ends and begins with who you say you are. Everything begins and ends with the conversations that you're having inside your head. And so in my household growing up, when I was growing up, my mom, she wasn't one to go to the hospital for every last thing. I know people who go to the hospital for every last thing. And she wasn't that kind of person. So I didn't have that kind of environment growing up. And when I had my own children, they just knew they had to work it out. There was no sickness in this house. Absolutely no sickness. And if you decided to do it, you were going to do it on your own. I was not going to pamper you, because I'm not standing for what you're proposing. And some people thought that was cruel, but that was just law. It was just law. Who do you say you are? And am I going to co-sign on what you're saying, or am I going to take a stand?
That's right.
And
truth.
And have you rise up to what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sickness is definitely a defense against the truth. And sickness is not just bodily sickness, but sickness is anything that has to do with any kind of lack. So poverty is sickness also.
Sickness of the mind.
Lack of creative drive is sickness. Separation from spirituality is sickness, because it's an evidence of a lack, or not in alignment with the original intent, which is I am, and source, where everything is.
Were you still speaking, Dr. G, when it went silent?
No, I finished. Yeah, that's all I had to say on that. It's just the whole idea that you always have to go back to root cause. I'm trained as a chiropractor. That's what the doctor is, a doctor of chiropractic. And as a chiropractor, we know that the body can heal itself. But the fallacy of chiropractic, if I'm going to say that as a chiropractor, is that we're still using the idea that there's something to be done externally. Like manipulation is something that's done externally to the body to make the body heal. And so I got frustrated as a chiropractor in the profession because it felt like a mechanic. People would come to me saying, okay, doc, it hurts here. I need to do this, and they just, kind of knew after a while what they needed as far as an adjustment was concerned. And so when I learned BEST, which is bioenergetic synchronization technique, and looking at how subconscious and emotional memory patterns play a role in how your body heals or becomes sick, that was like, okay, this is what I've been looking for, as far as an answer to this hamster wheel or what's it called, a revolving door of a chiropractic practice. And so, because I wanted results, I wanted people to get well and stay well, but you can't get well and stay well if you're not addressing root cause. And what root cause is? Your thoughts. What your thoughts are running the show, and your subconscious mind. They estimate like 80, 90, depending on who you talk to, 90% of your thoughts are subconscious. 90% of your actions are guided by your subconscious thinking. So a lot of times we're not even aware of the things that are motivating us to do the things that we do. And so sickness definitely is a defense against the truth. You can and also, helping people navigate their journeys, here. A lot of times when people make advances or are close to a breakthrough, a lot of times it's not unusual for them to get sick or something to happen, like if they have an accident or hurt themselves or something like that. And that's a sure sign of you're getting close to what you're aspiring to, because your ego or your lower self
will make you sick.
Is trying to just keep you in the pattern of what it's accustomed to and not breaking through to a new level. So anytime that you find yourself getting sick when you're doing the work of self-improvement, a lot of times it's on the threshold of a new discovery, a new level of consciousness that you will just have to push through. It's basically your lower self defending itself against the truth. That's all I have for right now.
That's exactly what happened on my way to Dubai. I was quantum leaping into something much bigger, and the lower self tried to say, no, you're sick. No, something's wrong. No, you can't go forward. It was trying to hold its position of weakness and littleness. That's all. And you just have to keep going, as Dr. G was said. It was trying, you could see it clearly. It was trying to hold its position. Thank you for trying to hold me safe. And I'm never not safe. Thank you. You think it and you keep walking. Okay, now, source, I am. What am I to do? Go to YouTube. Okay, I went to YouTube. How to answer came right up and passed us right on through. How many times do we get stopped by the little self's attempts? Their attempts, and the Course says they're feeble attempts. They can't work against the will of God, which is your true will. Over the weekend, read an interesting little vignette. A pastor was speaking, was the guest speaker, was the keynote speaker at the intervention. I was starting to say Christian Witches Convention because I got Christian Witches Convention on my mind for next week, and get your tickets if you don't have your tickets yet. This week, we're going to be talking about some very fascinating events that will be unfolding at the Christian Witches Convention in New Orleans, including, I think one of the things I'm most happy about is our magic shop crawl, that we're going to a bunch of magic shops in the French Quarter. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. Oh my God. They do a pub crawl in some places. They crawl from like pub to pub to pub and get drinks because you can walk down the street with your drinks. We do a magic shop crawl, witchy shop crawl. We crawl from witchy shop to witchy shop, all of us together. Anyway, I was listening to the Intervisions. I was at Intervisions Ordination and Graduation, and the keynote speaker is a pastor, and she said she had an infestation of squirrels in her roof, in her home, and she called the person to come and get the squirrels, the service or whatever, to get these critters out of your house. Well, he got all the critters out of the house somehow, however he draws them out. He got the critters out the house. He had them contained. And then he treated the house. And then he put up some kind of structure or something so that this would no longer be a habitation for squirrels anymore, which is what you want to do with your house. And then he said something fascinating. He said, I have to take these squirrels 15 miles or more away from your house, because if I don't, they'll just make their way back in again and reinfest. They'll just come back to their home, what they knew. They'll come back to their nest. If you take a squirrel 5 miles away, they'll come back. And I thought to myself, how can a squirrel or a pack of squirrels or a group of squirrels, like he couldn't go down the street and just release the squirrels into the wild in the park, because they would have been like, we're going back home. And they would have found their way back to her roof, to her attic. How does nature know how to do this? Nature knows what's going on. He said, I have to take these squirrels more than 15 miles away. 10 miles away, they'll find their way back. 12 miles away, they'll find their way back. I have to take them 15 miles or more out of the perimeter around your house of more than 15 miles so that these squirrels do not come back. And do you know what she said? She said, that's a metaphor. That's a story to help us understand what is happening with our own consciousness. See, there's something in our consciousness that are the squirrels that want to go back home, go back to the safe space. And she said, you have two choices: evolve or repeat. Evolve or repeat. Please write that down. Please write that down. I have two choices: evolve, do the new thing, go 15 miles away, at least put yourself in a position where you can't even go back to what you were doing because you're so far removed in consciousness from where you were that it's not even an option for you to go back to what was your former home. It's not an option for you. Or 5 miles away and repeat. Go back to that safe little nest that you made. You know every nook and cranny of that little attic. You have your whole little family there. And you know what your evolve is to be. It's different for everyone. You know what your evolve is to be. I know what my evolve is to be, and I'm doing it. And it's scary. Or repeat. Just keep repeating the same things that you've been doing and see how much you like that, or how much fulfillment is there in repeating. I never found fulfillment in repeating. Right, Lola Falana? On YouTube, evolve or repeat. Max! How you love it, Max?
How you love it? How you love it? How you love it? Well, listen to this. The joy of that story you just shared with the squirrels, I'm dealing with the same thing in the barn. And a man came out the other day, and he even recommended 25 miles.
Oh, my goodness.
Take it one step further. 25
miles. She said
miles.
25 miles. Those squirrels will come right back home.
And here, because it's all about homing, and studies show that squirrels can find the way back to a former nesting ground from as far as, like you said, 15 miles, right? And they say, in other words, do squirrels have a homing instinct? And they do have such an instinct. And what are our instincts telling us? And are our instincts patterns and pathologies that need to be broken? Mm-hmm. Or are our instincts really from all that is? The beautiful saying, whatever follows I am follows you. Mm. Whatever follows I am follows you. And there's something magical also with this squirrel story, is that I received a estimate to have the squirrels removed. This is a real thing. And they charge a lot of money. It's like $2,000 to do this. And then at the bottom of the estimate, and next to a little asterisk, it says, there are no guarantees.
No guarantees. They might come back.
But here's what I know for sure what the course teaches. There are guarantees. And the guarantees, like I put in the back channel, in the chat, from the course 136, I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth, but I am not a body, and my mind cannot attack. So I cannot be sick.
I cannot be sick.
And I love it when you, Val Love, said, it was a mic drop, I am never not safe. I am never not safe. I thank you for your commitment to this time and space. I love you. I adore you. If I can merchandise shirts off of things that you say, we would have stores all over the world. And it's a beautiful space to be able to join here this morning and to have all of these paradigm shifts. The full moon, power of the full moon, and the release and the accepting and this being in this now present moment with a group of collective conscious conversationists. I love it. And thank you. I love you.
Ooh, Max. Maybe we might have to do a ritual. The ritual will be free to tell the squirrels, you want a different home. We need to deal with these squirrels in consciousness, because clearly they're quite smart.
They are quite smart. And here's the thing. I'm watching them on the camera. So what happened was the mommy came in. There were some little babies. Real cute. Okay, fine. And one of the little ones looked right into the camera, knocked it over, then looked into it again. I was like, that motherfucker.
They're like, we live here. How come somebody put a camera in our nest?
Exactly. And now, this nest is this huge playground. But one of the most fascinating things that I've been observing with them, is they're very playful. And they're discovering and observing and looking, but they don't realize that they were born in entrapment.
Wow.
Just run into it and bump into it.
Wow.
So they want to break free. They want this escape.
They want to be in the
They don't know how to get out.
Right. Wow.
These squirrels are teaching this pastor and teaching me so many lessons in life. Are we born into a house that we cannot get out of? We see the light and we want to get out of it,
outside,
but we can't find the way. How many people go through that? How many people go through being born into an environment that they know they're not comfortable in? And the only thing between you and the outside world is a very thin sheet of glass. How do we break that glass? And how I know we break that glass is by tuning in to teachings, to experiences, to Reverend Valerie Love's courses, to A Course in the Miracles. That's how the glass starts to break. That's how the paradigm starts to shift, is when we're no longer comfortable in that home space. And 15 miles, 25 miles might not even be enough. Some might need to relocate thousands of miles to be who you're meant to be. So take that dose and shine out. I love you all.
Max, you are preaching up in here. I'm over here having church. Hallelujah. I'm over here having church. We have squirrel medicine today. We have squirrel medicine. That's a powerful teacher. A squirrel is a powerful teacher. Who did we not hear from yet? Alina, Jamila, how you loving?
I'm sorry. I just have to say something really quickly. That's why I raised my hand. But Brother Max, my spirit has told me that while you're dealing with the squirrel medicine, to put that footage on YouTube and make your coin so you can help relocate those beautiful preachers. I'm telling you.
You got some viral videos right there.
And I promise you, between me and other people who literally watch people's infestations of groundhogs and things, I would sit and watch that footage religiously because they have such an awesome personality. And when you said that homeboy knocked down that camera, oh no. Upload that beautiful being footage, please, Brother Max.
I will. It's from Ring, so I'll put. There's also, I have this big wheel from like a carnival wheel. And this little one keeps jumping on it and riding this wheel and spinning the wheel. And I'm looking at them. And, you know, the joy of the squirrel totem in the animal representation world. And this is something that I think, you know, we can laugh and joke and put up these videos and talk about squirrels all day long. But the underlining that a squirrel, they say, represents is rebirth, renewal, energy, positivity, hard work, duty, and balance.
Wow.
Who needs to be reborn today?
Come on.
Take this little squirrel's message as what's stopping me. This little piece of glass that's in front of me. Do the work. Do the work. The rebirth is already here. Jump into it. Break that glass. And I'm going to find these videos and figure out a way to do it so you can watch that. Thank you.
You know what got me was you were born in captivity, and the only thing that keeps these squirrels from running in the wild and being in trees and getting nuts and all of that is a thin piece of glass. Show me the great outdoors. And would I want to stay in a little house? I don't care how big the house is, because, of course, Max's barn is not a little house by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, if I'm supposed to be outside, then let me get outside. Jamila, I'm fascinated. People watch infestations of critters in people's house on YouTube?
There's a very famous channel of a groundhog. And the name of this groundhog is, oh my God, what is it? I think Buddy. But the point is this gentleman had a farm, a very nice little quaint garden, I'll say. And all of a sudden he was noticing his, hear me, my connection. His vegetables were being eaten into. So he put in a camera and he saw this. I mean, the teeth on this groundhog is gorgeous for a groundhog. White, short, nicely trimmed. But he has such a personality. And what made me laugh at Max's story, because he popped his little cute head up at at the camera, the critic is smacking on his beautiful, juicy tomatoes. Like, yeah, I'm here, that's me. And I live underneath your barn too with my family. And the whole family came out and started smacking on the carrots, the corn. So what he did, because he tried to relocate it, but I guess he didn't have the knowledge of relocating a certain distance, because he came back. His name is Chunk. Right, his name is Chunk the Groundhog, and he's famous for this. This gentleman gets so much money from not even acting. They just love Chunk so much because his personality, and every season they have their babies, and they are just, he has a whole mini separate garden for the Chunks. And they have their own live streaming, and it is just, to me, just look up Chunk the Groundhog. I'm telling you. The footage is spectacular because of the wonderful creature's personality. And I'm telling you, Max, between that and me watching this wonderful older gentleman in Canada that feeds a plethora of raccoons every night, and he knows them by name, and they gently grab the hot dogs and sandwiches from his hand. I watch that stuff. I watch it. And yes, people do watch the infestation. There's another channel of an infestation on Long Island of rodents. And they watch the live footage on YouTube and TikTok.
I'm amazed.
Your situation sounds more hilarious, Max. I'm telling you, just try one video.
I'm amazed.
And I'm telling you, you're gonna get views.
I receive it. But Val, to pick up from when you said that piece of glass,
wow.
It's now, I think, 3 or 4 days watching them. And I see the frustration that they have.
Oh.
Yes, they're inside of this 6,000 square foot barn, this captivity. But instinctively, they want to rewild.
Yeah, they want to be outside.
And we just did that show on rewilding. I did a 2-part series last week and the week before on rewilding. And what does it mean? And how we can rewild right now, right where we are. And it doesn't mean we have to stick our feet in the soil or in grounding, but how can we rewild? And it's observing all the senses, sight, hear, sound, look, and then we become present. But when I see these little squirrels, it's always a reminder of the gift that the universe has once we get out into where we need to be. It reminds me of the illustration of this little child, and God is holding this big teddy bear behind his back, and the little child has this small teddy bear, and the little child doesn't want to give up the small teddy bear, and God is like, but I have something so much bigger for you. And these are what these little squirrels are seeing. They're seeing something so much bigger for them. And they're trying to get out, and they're trying to be where naturally they're supposed to be. Yeah. So where are we naturally supposed to be? What resonates with your spirit, with your soul, and says, I need to be somewhere else? And that's what I love about you, Val, is that you're gypset. You're like, I need to be here today. I need to be there today. I'm going to be here today. And it's not that I need to, so forgive me for saying that because I just said it in spirit. I'm going to be here today. I'm going to be there today. And wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. But it is such a testament to the free life that you live because you knew that a piece of glass wasn't going to keep you in. And you were behind that glass for a long time. You've shared your stories, so we know them. I mean, you were the true testament of taking a tragedy and making it a testimony, of taking a trial and making it a testimony, and taking that piece of glass and breaking right through it because you knew that you had so much more to do. So thank you for saying yes. Let's break the glass. Let's break the glass.
Break it. And Max, as you were describing that, I see myself energetically, the old self standing behind that glass in the witness cult, banging on the glass, seeing the big outdoors, and my voice wasn't even heard. Had to break out.
And that's I know from my experiences, the commonality that we all share. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Do I matter? The validation. How was it, Val, that you took your experience of standing behind that glass and actually broke that glass? How did you do it?
I had help. The inner voice, higher mind, told me, live. And if live or go out, pick one, choose, because this zombie is not going to get it. And if you're going to live, if that's the one you're choosing, then are you ready for the ride? And it put its hand out. And I was like, yeah, had no idea where I was going.
Evolve or repeat. Evolve or repeat.
Hello. Oh my God.
I love this. I love that squirrel consciousness came into our reality this morning. And that this little animal can teach us so much. And by observing, we can be set free. And by observing a little creature, we're encouraged to break the glass. So I encourage you all, no matter what you're standing behind, no matter what's in front of you, you have the power and the capability to break through. There's a song that Whitney Houston sings that says, I was not built to break. And we weren't. That's what the Course teaches us in 136. We're not built to break. We're not built for sickness. It's not in us. Take that and take your glory and run. Have a beautiful day, all. Love you, Val. And love you all.
Love you, Max. Thank you for sharing this powerful, powerful story with us of your critters. The squirrel medicine for all of us. That even though you have a huge barn, 6,000 square foot barn. Your real living is in the wild outdoors. Your real self. It doesn't matter how big your prison is. It's still a prison. Alina. How you loving, Alina?
How you loving? How you loving? KC. To the guys and goddesses in the room. This has brought so many. This lesson is so powerful. To me, it's similar to lesson 130. There was a lot of things in there that were, to me, that were very similar. But you brought out a point that made me think about something. When I was growing up, I was being raised. I'll never forget when I was a teenager. I didn't have cramps or anything like that, menstrual cramps, and I didn't have any hot flashes in my golden years, which I'm in there now. But I don't remember having those conversations of the women in my family talking about the curses, people call it, or talking about they have problems. And so I believe now I'm just starting to put two and two. I think it must have been the conversations. And the prior lessons, if you go back on YouTube to listen at your lessons, you talk about the conversations that we're having in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just start to think about different things, like what conversations am I having in my mind?
Mm-hmm.
What is the bullshit story that I'm telling myself? And what am I fighting for? When I used to try to, when I did tech support at one time, or even when I was in sales, I would have within my power to give somebody something that would just make their day. And they would be fighting for the problem. And then I sort of asked them the question.
Here you have it.
Do you
want
it wasn't
to?
the same as Jesus said, do you want to be healed? But I should say, do you want to complain or do you want a solution?
Do you want to solve your issue?
Do you want to win or do you want to whine? I used to have to ask that question because they would just keep going, and this happened and that happened and this happened. And I would have, my boss would give me that power, but so many people I did not help. I did not give them free 3 months or free this or a free phone because they were fighting so hard over the problem. So they couldn't let it go. And then I just started thinking to myself, how many bullshit conversations am I having with myself, and what could I not let go? And then you said something today that poverty and sickness are the same. It's just the same thing that can make you well can actually take you out of being broke. And I was just thinking about that too. What conversations am I having to myself or even to other people? And you guys talked about environment. I remember when I first got my license years and years and years ago, and to cut hair. So I cut hair with it, and I did nails. I did everything I could do with my license. But the first thing I did, the first part of that career, I went far away from Oakland. And I don't know why, but my grandmother told me to do it, so I did it. So I lived in Oakland, but I cut hair in San Ramon. So I met so many people out there, which was Terry McMillan was one of them. I would cut out there. And I was so successful. And I was thinking, well, the barbershop and there was people asking me, are the barbershops different out there? The conversations were different. The conversations were totally different. And so even if you were new and didn't have clientele, everybody shared. And so they had a different mentality, and it was a different conversation.
Yes.
So I'm starting to see, I couldn't understand what you were saying. You said in so many lessons, what story are you telling yourself? What conversations are we having? Now I'm starting to see all these different things where I did feel good about something, or I did let go of sickness or something like that. And it's usually what kind of conversations am I having
with myself?
What kind of conversations am I having?
Yes.
You know, so we can come out of it. So I just really, really thought that was really something. And then something she said, the consciousness is consistent. It's a container of beliefs. Wow. And I just really thought about that. And we talk about the ground, the squirrels. I love to walk outside. I be seeing the squirrels over here all the time. And they are very playful. And they are so cute. But they're a nuisance if they get inside your house, though. And, but I was just thinking the other day, I was walking. I said, I bet you that squirrel is not trying to figure out how he gonna get some more clients, or that squirrel ain't probably. I was just talking about squirrels, but I was talking at him from a different point of view. And I was looking at him eating the nuts that I brought to him and stuff. And I said, I bet you that squirrel know that somebody gonna feed them every day. I know that squirrel over there by the tree. I know they're not worried about how they gonna pay the electric, or is the rain gonna wash them away, or are they gonna find a home tonight, or somebody gonna feed them.
Not concerned.
I said, if they don't get these nuts over here, they're going to get something out here in nature from somewhere. I said, well, why would I be thinking about stupid stuff like that? But I wasn't thinking about the squirrels in the house. I was just thinking about it from that point of view. It just made me think about stuff. You know, I don't take any medication or nothing. And I don't have any sickness. But now I have to use the same mindset for other things, too. And you just reminded me of that today. And that's why I do say thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. And I yield.
Love you, Alana. You always have a powerful word. Wow. Alana has a powerful gift of wordology, a keeper of the word. And wow, can she break down those words and go deep into the symbology behind the words. Letters and numbers are symbols for much greater forces. And Alana, you have that gift. Woo, you have that gift. It's really powerful. It's really powerful.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I'm learning some stuff every day. Every day it's like you're on a roller coaster. But I can't certain phone calls, you know, you just don't want to answer. You don't know what the conversation going to be like. So I got to try to just keep my mind where it needs to be, you know. And people will fight you. I found that out too. People will fight you to be sick. They will really fight you over that. They would defend sickness to the core. I remember when I was saying all my kids were asthmatic. And as quick as it came, it was gone. Because I wasn't having it. I wasn't having 3 kids on the machines, and I just wasn't going to go through that. And eczema, I wasn't having it. And they're all grown. None of them have eczema. None of them have asthma. But the youngest one had it the worst. They made me take a course. And the course was, they made me take CPR, infant CPR, child CPR, adult CPR. I had to keep that certification all the time because 911 was called too much. My son was hospitalized 15 times in 1 year. I was done with that. And he would stop breathing. I would have to work on him until they get there. And I was just done with that. And I remember Mom. I call her Mom. She was my godmother. I had several godmothers. She was the main one of my life. And then she said he was on the respirators, ICU. She said, put the phone to his ear. She said, you understand me, Idris? And he said, yes. She said, go home and never come back there again. Do you understand me?
Come on. She was speaking to his spirit.
And then he said, yes, ma'am. And she said, who is this? And he said, Grandma.
Come on, Grandma.
And then she said,
Grandma.
It's okay now. You're welcome to be here.
Woo.
And when she told him he was welcome here, that boy never got sick again. I didn't even know he was feeling that way. He was the one that would never let go of my breast. He would be outside playing and come in the house and say, best be. That was ridiculous. I was still breastfeeding. And that's why he wouldn't let go of the breast. And that's why he wouldn't let go of the sickness.
That's right.
Because he didn't think he was welcome here.
Wow.
And when she said, you're welcome here. We want you to be here. He said, and if the vital signs change,
right
and they called the breathing specialist and they said, go get the doctor.
in that instant.
ICU. The next hour, they moved him out of there, and he's never been hospitalized again over that. And I remember him. That was his problem. He was so sick because he needed attention. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. That's it.
If you watch YouTube while you were telling that story, I was over here having church.
I know. I saw you over there.
Come through, Grandma. Come through, Grandma. Give us some truth. He had an instantaneous change in consciousness, instantly reflected on all of the instruments. Oh my God. And when you were speaking of the people that were fighting for their problems, they like being in the story. They like perpetuating the story. They like their victim story of how something bad happened to them, and they will tell every willing ear. I'm not listening to any bullshit stories, and everyone who knows me knows this. No one tells me bullshit stories. It's not helping you or anyone else. And people believe that people are cruel when they think, you know, all these initials we like to have, ADD, ADHD, LMNOP. I have LMNOP. I have ABC. Why are you taking it on and wearing it rather than, well, you like it. You want to have LMNOP. You like it. You're getting wonderful payoffs from it. Every time you go to a party, do you notice the people that have the initials, when they talk to you in about the third or fourth sentence after you met them, yeah, I have SAD. What's that? Seasonal affective disorder.
That is true.
They tell you in the fourth sentence. They talk about it, don't they, Alina?
Yes, they do. They'll say, you just be, hi, my name is Kaisi. How you doing? You be talking, having a good time. You say, yeah, because, you know, I'm ADHD. And that's why when they brought the drink over, I couldn't make a decision. I'm like, what is going on here?
You're ADHD. What is that? And people do not know these were made up in pharmaceutical companies, marketing departments. No doctors made these things up. These were made up by marketing departments of pharmaceutical companies, but that's another conversation for another day.
That's deep. There's a book about that. There's a book about that or something on Amazon. They should go read a book. It talks about that. They should go read that.
You want to read all the books that you can read on Big Pharma. You want to read the book called Contagion. It's a powerful book. You want to read these books because nothing we can tell you on a YouTube video can make you be different. You must decide, I'm going to be different. And then you get to study it and you get to be different. This is an inspiration. This is a jumping off point. This is where you come and say, you know what? I think I'm going to buy that book after all. Let me go get A Course in Miracles, or let me go to ACIM.org and start reading the text, because the whole text is far beyond the lessons. Read the text as well. This is where you study to show thyself approved. You must take it on. You must say, you know what? I'm going to take myself on at the very deepest levels. I'm going to evolve and not repeat. I am going to be different. And the different that I'm going to be is I'm going to be God, rather than a little sick, frail, weak human that gets into fights and has problems and doesn't have enough money, gets sick and gets old, and wow, life sucks and then you die. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I opted out of that little human plan. I opted out. Galactic Signature. Yes.
Val, real quick, I wanted to pick up on something you had said. And it reminded me of the quote that misery loves company.
Oh.
And we have the choice to be part of that company or not. Also, as far as reading goes, I did a course last year about the fine print. And when articles are written, always search the fine print to see who's funding it and to see really where it's coming from. You know, for instance, when I was looking up squirrel removals, there was also an article about termites, and they were saying how with termites, you can't fog them, this, and this, and you have to tent. And it sounded just so ridiculous that someone said you have to do something. And then when I go to the bottom of the article, it was funded basically by a pest control company. So they don't want you to do the natural things. They want you to fear. They want you to think you need to tent your house to get rid of certain things. And so what articles are you reading? And not the articles like in magazines or online, but the articles in your life. What are you reading? Who's funded them? And are you ready to do the work to break out of that glass? I could go on all day with this, so I'm going to wrap this up. I love you. And I just wanted to take it one step further of evolve or repeat. There's also the option to do nothing. So where are you in these three choices? Have a beautiful day. I love you, Valerie. Love. I love him. Bye. Presents out.
I cannot wait to get into that barn. And hey, I don't know. I'll be happy to play in the place where the squirrels deemed that you have created a playground. So Max, you might have done too good of a job of creating a playground in your barn, because now all the critters, some critters beyond the human people, are enjoying the play of the barn. I cannot wait till we get to play in your barn.
Thank you. You know, here's the reality. It doesn't bother me that they're there. You know, that's just part of nature. Because like you said, I don't even know the illusion of time, but you said there's nothing in this universe we want. So yes, we call it my house. But in reality, you know, when I look at it and I see there's birds sometimes flying, I'm like, it's just a big bird house. Because nothing here is really mine, right? So the fact that nature's living in something that, it's a barn. Nature's supposed to live in a barn. Is where we house horses and animals. You know. Meanwhile, they could be outside and they're fine. So the reality is they're just playing what they think is theirs, and that's fine. And the funny thing of it all is, you know, I love taxidermy. Not that I do it myself. I love creating and collecting vintage taxidermy. And so I have some of this taxidermy in the barn, and there's like this big hawk that was gifted to me from the previous owner. And I'm thinking, how did these little things not see this big hawk and they're not like scared of it? And then I always think because no one told them to be. No one told them to be fearful. They just have this playful imagination. And it's actually an honor that they're able to do it in my barn and that I can witness it, because it's always the lesson. And no experience is ever wasted. So what are these lessons that these little creatures are giving me? You know, and when we say the words infestation, we are the ones that are infesting and infestation. Yeah. We are the ones that are in places we don't belong, infesting those places. It's time to get out. It's time to rewild. Yeah. It's time. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. And get off when you don't want to be on it anymore. But enjoy it until you're on it. I love you, Valerie, love.
Love you. Love you, Max. Love you, love you, love you. We're going to be in Max's barn soon. So you'll be hearing all about that on the fall equinox. We're going to be in Max's barn on an incredible fall equinox experience and plant medicine. You'll hear more about that later. Not ayahuasca, a much more gentler plant medicine. Yeah, much gentler. Galactic Signature. Thank you, everyone. You are so appreciated. You are so loved. You are so loved and appreciated.
I want to ask you one thing. Did you see that series, We Crashed?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, I don't recommend series. This only one season. I recommend you see that. It's about how the We Love Man moved that company. He moved that company through meditation and through his mind. He never was turning a profit, but constantly getting people. He even attracted.
Oh, you talking about the creator of We Work and We Live?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. That thing was wow. Yeah, I saw that.
We Crashed. Wasn't that powerful though? It
was
mind.
extremely powerful. It was extremely powerful.
He used his mind.
Yes.
Nothing was going on. He used his mind.
Yes, he did.
To get billions and billions of dollars of funding through his mind.
They believed him. Yes, they did.
Wow, that was powerful, wasn't it?
It was incredible. And you know what was even more incredible about it? I had an office at WeWork, and at the same time, I lived at We Live. And it was amazing. I lived, when I was in the DMV, I lived in one of the first We Live communities. I had a retreat there. Everyone who came to Punani Power can tell you how beautiful the building was. It's beautiful, was laid. It was beautiful. When they toured me through this place, I had never seen a place like this before. This place was cutting edge. All those workspaces you see right now, that did not exist. WeWork was the inventor of that. Now we have a lot of clones. It was an unheard of idea. Office sharing, it was an unheard of idea.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And he took.
WeWork is still around.
WeWork is still around, yeah, because it went into bankruptcy and then someone else bought it out. But the thing is, WeWork, he had a brilliant idea. He saw these big buildings, prime real estate, and you can't buy the whole building because maybe you don't have the money to buy the whole building. How about buy 3 floors of the building and then cut it up into tiny, cut it up into compartments and rent out, rather than rent out all 3 floors of the building to some big company for $50,000 a month, take all 3 floors, cut it up into offices, arrange it around coffee stations, arrange it where people are communicating and connecting, and rent out each floor. And the rent for each of those offices all together will total maybe $1 million a month. The man was brilliant.
Yes, he was.
It's just that his lower self got him. He was.
Yeah, he started getting too ahead of himself. But I mean, he was just powerful. And then his wife said, well, they keep canceling my flights, and she said, just imagine yourself flying. And then somebody offered to pay for the plane. It was just manifesting stuff. It was like crazy.
He got a plane. That's
yes.
Right, a jet.
And he would go into Manchester, and then she would say, when they would feel scared about something, they would say, wait a minute. Fear is a choice. Fear is a choice. They would bring each other back. Or when somebody came to her with something negative, she would say, you're just attacking my thoughts. You're attacking my positivity. I was like, wow.
And I think people around them thought that they were a little nuts, on the little nutty side.
They did. Everybody thought they was crazy. They walked around. She made the company vegan. They took their shoes off when they was in the office. They thought they was nuts, but that was his superpower, actually.
Yeah.
So,
and he created something that is in the history books now. He's in the history books for We Work and We Live. He's in the history books because it never been done before.
Yeah. SoftBank owns them now, SoftBank. And that's what made him go far as he went, because SoftBank was his last investor. He got SoftBank on.
And they gave him billions of dollars, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Wow. And he still got his money. He was uneducated in everything and still got the money. And even when they tried to tie him up in court, he had got everybody to agree to making him the majority control, and even if he wasn't in the company. So they had to pay him to leave. I mean, it was just brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Then she started that school where she said she want people, they said, what about academics? She said, life is your only academic. We want kids to be entrepreneurs, and then we want them to know that they're supernovas. And they were like, what are you talking about? And she built that school. They funded the school.
They built the school. And they were telling us about it at We Work and We Live, that you can now bring your kids to the little We School place, and your kids can be in the same kind of mindset. And I am telling you, all the people that worked at We Work and that worked at We Live, they loved it. They were not getting paid well. They were low paid, They were on board for the mission. They had beer on tap in these places. Who puts beer on tap in an office? In
They
this
had tequila. Yeah, they had tequila all over the place. Wow.
I mean, it was cutting
and they
edge.
didn't even have nobody falling out drunk acting a fool either. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And the offices were so beautiful and so cutting edge and so futuristic that people wanted to rent the office space. People wanted, I had events at the space. You would have Bitcoin meetups at the space. The thing was cutting edge. The thing was like an idea that dropped clean out of the divine. It was absolutely a download. It was absolutely a download. Yeah.
Wow. And it's funny, I look at how people be so afraid to meet a guy that don't have a job. And she didn't even, he didn't have a job. And she didn't even tell him to go get one either. And she was the one for him. Because a lot of women wouldn't have talked to him. And he even threatened the yogi that was over her to pay her more. I mean, he knew how to talk to people.
Yeah.
But he just would get something in his mind like a pit bull, and he would just go for it. Wow.
And you know what I loved about him too? He could get other people to see the vision and they would jump through flaming hoops for the vision. They weren't being paid. They were being paid. When I say they weren't being paid, I don't mean that they were not receiving a salary. They were receiving a salary. If you look at the salary that they were receiving, commensurate with the work they were doing, because you pretty much got to be there all the time, they were being paid very little. What was they're being paid very little. What was the draw? The draw was we are creating something that's never been done before. Their conventions, their their office parties and like their training camps for the people that work there. It wasn't this boring sit in a hotel room, conference room and get all the manual, pull out the manual, the book. It looked like Coachella. That's what their annual, didn't it, Alina, look like something out of Coachella or Burning Man?
Yes, and that's how they learn. They learn, and they learn by applying it. And then he would just say, they would come with ideas, he says, go do it. What's stopping you? I mean, he was really empowering people to, and they talked about those people who left the company that started with him in the beginning. They're all doing well. Mm-hmm. One girl wrote a thesis. She could never get into Harvard. She went to work for him. She got right into Harvard. She wrote her thesis about WeWork and they let her in.
Wow.
And then I was looking at where the people went. And it said the man that was to help him co-founded, he has a company now. He's with a company. And then his wife bought back the company Regrow. She let her buy back the school. And everybody's doing something phenomenal that started with him in the beginning. That didn't want to stay on where we work. They are really doing phenomenal things. I think because they could probably never work a job after doing that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. I thought that was just so powerful.
It was an incredible experience. And you know what I really, really love and appreciate about it is that we never saw the inside scoop on that. I never saw the inside scoop on it. And I lived in it. So can you imagine that now, the whole world knows the inside scoop on what happened? It's incredible. It is incredible. All right, we're going to end the YouTube chat, and family, everyone who is in the YouTube chat, if you ever see anything in the YouTube chat that is not of Reverend Valerie Love and doesn't belong in the YouTube chat, tap and report. Report. You must be active and protecting the integrity of the chat. Report anything that you see, because I will definitely block and put in timeout. Block user, report. Because YouTube is being taken over by, let me not say that. There is a issue to be handled and resolved on YouTube. Report it. Keep the space clean. All right. All right, family. You too. We love you. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Casey out. Peace.